नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तदभक्ताय नमो नमः हरे कृष्ण. So dear devotees, we are reading from Shri Caitanya Bhagavat by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, Ādi Khanda, chapter 12, and we read till verse number 240 last time, and the theme was how Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is defeated by the love of his devotees. We actually read till verse number 41, I think. So verse number 41 again. Ei mata ishwarera sarvashreshta karma sabe seva kare hare se taha no dharma. Such a beautiful verse. Worth memorizing this verse. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is explaining a very important siddhanta. What is that? Ei mata ishwarera sarvashreshta karma. The activities of the Supreme Lord are supreme in all respects. But sabe seva kere hare. Hare means harjana, to accept defeat. Sabe seva kere hare setaha na dharma. But it is his dharma. Dharma means the inherent nature. It is Krishna's dharma, it is Krishna's nature to accept defeat at the hands of his devotees, sevak, at the hands of his devotees. So this is the beauty of Krishna consciousness, that Krishna voluntarily, eternally makes himself subservient to the love of his devotees. So we'll begin from verse number 2. And then last time all of you gave so many examples from the Shastra, how Krishna accepts defeat from his devotees. So now we'll go to verse number 242. Ekadina Prabhu aise naraja pathe pancha sata paduya prabhura chari bhite. Ekadina Prabhu, one day, Shri Nimai, along with 5 or 7 students, Pacha Sata Paduya, was walking down the main road. Aisena Raja Pathe. He was walking down the main road. So we are reading the pastimes of Shri Nimai Pandit as he is manifesting during his teenage years. He is married to Srimati Lakshmi Priya Devi and he is living with his mother, Srimati Shachi Mata. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's elder brother Vishwarup has already left home and taken sannyas, and his father Shri Jagannath Mishra has also entered the Nitya Leela. So it is just 3 of them: Srimati Shachi Mata, our Shri Nimai Pandit, and his beloved wife Srimati Lakshmi Priya Devi. And Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is hardly 15-16 years old, and he is by profession a Sanskrit teacher. He teaches Vyakaran and some Nyaya also. So one day, along with 5 or 7 students, Shri Nimai Pandit is walking down the main road in Nadia. Vyavhare Raja Yogya Vastra Paridhan Ange Pita Vastra Shobhe Krishnera Saman. Aha. Shri Nimai was dressed like a king. Vyavhare Raja Yogya. He was dressed like a king. The yellow cloth that covered his body made him look just like Krishna. Ange pita vastra shobhe Krishnera saman. He looked just like Krishna with his pitambar vastra. So this pitambar vastra we wear around our hand. Whenever Shri Nimai Nitai, they are given Abhishek on Gaur Purnima Nityananda Rishi, they are wearing pitambar vastra and Neela vastra, blue. Shri Nityananda Prabhu wears blue and Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wears pitambar, yellow. So after they are given Abhishek, their cloth that is used for Abhishek with panchamrit, milk, ghee, honey, sugar syrup, yogurt, then that dress we don't reuse it. So that dress is given as a Mahaprasad. So devotees cut strips and wear it around the right hand. So this is one of the Mahaprasads that a devotee adorns the body with. This is our jewelry. This is our decoration. So all of us should wear this cloth. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto also. Uddhavji says that we eat your remnants as Krishna Prasad and we use your clothes and your garlands as Mahaprasad we wear on our body. In this way, we conquer over Maya. So one day Nimai is walking with 5 or 7 students wearing his Pitambar Vastra and he's looking just like Krishna because he's Gaur Krishna. He's Krishna. Verse number 244. Adhare tambula koti chandra shri vadana loke bole murti manta eiki madana. As Shri Nimai Pandit chewed betel nut, pan, which is very fragrant, very sweet. As he was chewing the pan that his students had offered to him, his face resembled millions of moons. Koti Chandra Shri Vadana. Shri Vadana means his beautiful transcendental divine face. It looked like Koti Chandra. Bahu Koti Chandra Jini Vadana Ujwala Gala Deshe Bana Mala Kore Jhalamala. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur also has that same realization, same vision. Bahu Koti Chandra Jini Vadana Ujwala. Shri Vadan, his beautiful face, Gaura Chandra, is more effulgent than millions and millions of moons. One moon is so effulgent at night, we can see. But Krishna, Chandra, Shri Gaura Chandra, is more effulgent than millions of moons. Bahu Koti Chandra Jini, Vadana Ujwala. Adhare Tambula Koti Chandra Shri Vadana, Loke Bole Murti Manta Eiki Madana. And the people who saw our Nimai Pandit walking on the road wearing his Pitambar Vastra, chewing the pan that his students had offered to him, surrounded by 5 or 7 students. He looked so beautiful, just like Krishna. So therefore, when people of Nadia saw him, they said, Eiki Madana? Is he Madan? Is he Cupid? He looked so beautiful. Is he the personification of all beauty? Eiki Madana? Is he Madan? Because he is Krishna. He is looking like Krishna. And Krishna is Madan Mohan. 245. Lalate tilaka urdhva pustaka shri kare drishti matre padma netre sarva papa hare. Lalate tilaka urdhva pustaka shri kare drishti matre padma netre sarva papa hare. Such a beautiful description of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lalate tilaka urdhva. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has urdhva pundrak. The Vaishnav tilak, the Gaudiya tilak that we all wear. My tilak, of course, I just came home, so tilak is little not very clear. But you can see this is the tilak, our Gaudiya tilak. It's urdhva pundra. The Shaivites wear a horizontal tilak. We wear a vertical tilak. These 2 lines represent the 2 lotus feet of Shri Krishna or Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this thing on the nose is the tulsi leaf offered at the lotus feet of Shri Krishna. So this is the Vaishnav tilak. By putting on Vaishnav tilak, we are decorating our body as the temple of Krishna. Then this body becomes a temple of Krishna. Because Krishna is Virajman, Krishna is present in the heart. Sarvasya cha aham ridhi sannivishto, Krishna says. He is in our heart. And then this body becomes a temple of Vishnu. And the temple of Vishnu has got nice markings, nice decoration. So at 12 places we put this Urdhva Pundra Tilak, decorating, signifying this body as a temple of Shri Krishna. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us, Lalate tilaka urdhva. He had a vertical tilak, and pustaka shri kare. Kara means hand. And pustaka shri kare. He's holding a pustak in his hand as Nimai Pandit. Drishti matre padma netre sarva papa hare. So beautiful. A glance from Sri Nimai's lotus eyes destroyed all sins. Aha. Who would like to receive the Kripa Katakshak of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? His Kripa Drishti. Lalate tilaka urdhva pustaka shri kare drishti matre padma netre sarva papa hare. Drishti matre padma netre. His glance with his lotus eyes, padma netra. Sarva papa hare. Not some pap, sarva papa hare. He immediately makes us completely nishpap, completely sinless. One glance of Sri Chaitanya, just one glance. Aha. Lalate tilaka urdhva pustaka shri kare drishti matre padma netre sarva papa hare swabhave chanchala padu yara varga sange bahu dolaiya Prabhu ai se narange. Swabhave chanchala paduyara. As the restless natured Lord walked along with his paduyar, his students, his arms swung back and forth. Bahu, his arm, Bahu dolaiya Prabhu ai se narange. Please visualize Sri Nimai walking with his students on the road of Nadia, holding a book in his hand, wearing pitambar vastra, his yellow dhoti, chewing pan that his students have offered him. Chewing pan it signifies that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a supreme enjoyer. And he has got lotus eyes, and he's smiling. And with his drishti matra, with his glance, with his padma netra, his lotus eyes, sarva papa hare. And he's looking so beautiful, just like Krishna. Just like Krishna. And people are saying, oh, is he Madan? Is he Madan? Daive pathe aisena pandita Shrivas Prabhu dekhi matratana haila mahahas. By providence, Daive means by providence, by divine arrangement, Shrivas Pandit was coming from the opposite direction at that time. So our Nimai, Sri Nimai Pandit is walking with his students, and Shrivas Thakur is coming from the other side. Now, Shrivas Thakur was a friend of Sri Jagannath Mishra. He was one generation above Sri Nimai. So by providence, Shrivas Pandit was coming from the opposite direction at that time, and upon seeing Sri Nimai, our Shrivas Thakur began to laugh loudly. Prabhu dekhi matra tana haila mahahas. Seeing our Prabhu, Nimai Prabhu, our Shrivas Pandit started laughing loudly. Tane dekhi Prabhu kari lena namaskara chiranjeevi hao bole Shrivasa udara. What poetry! Srila Vrindavan Thakur ki jai. Tane dekhi Prabhu kari lena namaskar. Seeing Shrivas Thakur, our Nimai Prabhu, Nimai Pandit, offered his namaskar. Chiranjeevi ho! Chiranjeevi ho! Shrivas Thakur gave a blessing to Nimai. Chiranjeevi ho! May you live a long life. We have our Chirayu Prabhu sitting there. Chiranjeevi ho! Shrivas Thakur is giving blessings to Nimai. Chiranjeevi ho! May you have a long life. Bole Shrivas Udar. Our magnanimous Shrivas Thakur, he offered blessings to Nimai as Nimai was offering him obeisances, saying, live a long life. In the purport, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada writes, Sandipani Muni as the teacher of Krishna, Garga Muni as the priest, Bhrigu Muni as the examiner, and in Gaur Lila, Shri Brahmananda Puri as a godbrother of Ishwar Puri, as a godbrother of Shripad Ishwar Puri, and Srila Shrivas Pandit as a senior Brahman, all considered the Lord a subordinate object of affection and care. And thus, they acted as guardians of the Lord. Guardians. So they have the adhikar to bless. But it should be understood that in the mood of awe and reverence, such behavior is harmful to the principles of service. But we should not imitate it. We should not imitate artificially like this, giving ashirvad to Bhagwan. We don't want to become prakrit sahajya bhaktas. But it should be understood that in the mood of awe and reverence, such behavior is harmful to the principle of service. So this is not possible when the mood is that of awe and reverence. But naturally, when we make spiritual advancement and we have that type of Leela Pravesh, then we can also follow the dictations of our heart spontaneously. That is Raganuga Bhakti. Next, 249 to 253. Hasiya Shrivasa bole कहा देखी शूनी कति चली आचा उद्ध तेरा चूड़ामणि. Look at this. Srivas Thakur, what he's saying? He's calling Nimai Uddha tera chudamani. He's calling him Uddhat. Uddhat means very mischievous, naughty, arrogant. Say, Hasiya Shrivasa bole. Srivas Thakur was laughing at Nimai and saying, Kaha dekhi shuni kati chali acha uddha tera chudamani. He smiled and inquired from Nimai, oh, best of the arrogant, Uddhat tera chudamani. Uddhat is a bad word to call somebody. Oh, Uddhat hai. He's Uddhat. Uddhat tera chudamani. Oh, best among the arrogant. Where are you going? Why do you uselessly waste your time? Krishna na bhajiya kala kikare gana o ratri dina niravadhi keneva padao. Why are you uselessly wasting your time? You are not worshipping Krishna. Why do you spend day and night simply teaching mundane knowledge? Ratri dina niravadhi keneva padao. Why are you doing this? Wasting your time. Pade kene loka Krishna bhakti jani bare ye jadi nahila tabe vidyaya ki kare. Why do people study? Srivas Thakur is asking, why do people study? What is the reason that people go to school and study? They study, education is only for understanding devotional service to Krishna. Krishna Bhakti Jani Bare. Why do we study? Krishna Bhakti Jani Bare. To understand that Krishna Bhakti is the essence of everything. But say yadi nahila tabe vidyaya ki kare. But if your education, your learning is not bringing you to the point of Krishna Bhakti, then what is the use of that education? It is useless. Ete ka sarvada vyartha nagana o kala padila ta ebe Krishna bhajaha sakala. Therefore, don't uselessly waste your time any longer. Ete ke sarvada vyartha nagana o kal. Nagana vyartha gana o kal. Don't spend your time uselessly teaching mundane things. Padila ta ebe Krishna bhajaha sakala. You have studied enough. Now you should worship Krishna. Come on, enough of this education. Now come on, start worshipping Krishna. Come to the real point. What does our Nimai Pandit, Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu respond? He says, Hasi bole Mahaprabhu sunaha pandita tomara kripaya seha hai be nischita. Shri Nimai said to Srila Srivas Thakur, Hasi bole Mahaprabhu. He didn't get angry at Srivas Thakur for the chastisement. He smiled. He was happy. Very happily Mahaprabhu replied, Sunaha Pandita, O Srivas Pandit, listen. Tomara kripaya seha hai be nischita. Whatever you are saying that Krishna bhaja sakal, all this will happen. I will do Krishna bhajan by your blessings. Tomara kripaya. So Mahaprabhu is giving all credit to Srivas Thakur that yes, in the future, certainly I will become a devotee by your blessings. This is how we should receive loving chastisement. This is very beautiful. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur paraphrases this in his own words. So I want to read that. So please listen. These are the words of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He's summarizing the whole pastime. One day, while walking on the road, Lord Shri Nimai Pandit met Srila Srivas Pandit. When the Lord Shri Nimai Pandit offered obeisances to Srila Srivas Pandit, Shri Srivas Pandit blessed him, saying, may you live a long life. Chiranjivaha. Srila Srivas Pandit continued, O Nimai, if you give up the worship of Krishna and spend your time in activities not related with Krishna, there will be no possibility of your achieving eternal auspiciousness. The purpose of learning and teaching in this world is achieved only by dovetailing these activities in the devotional service of Krishna. If devotion to Krishna is not awakened by the cultivation of knowledge, then such cultivation is meaningless and fruitless. You have already studied many books, therefore do not delay any longer. Immediately engage in the topmost fruit of all studies, the worship of Sri Hari. Worship Hari. In answer to this, Sri Nimai Pandit says, O Shrivas Pandit, you are a devotee of Lord Krishna. By your blessing, I will soon become attached to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Verse number 254. Eta bali mahaprabhu hasiya chalila Ganga tire asi shishya sahite milila. After speaking in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled. See, he was not angry at Srivas Thakur for the loving chastisement. That is the quality of a Mahabhagavat. That a Mahabhagavat does not get angry when someone chastises. Here, Srila Srivas Thakur is chastising out of love and concern. Like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, they have taken the role of a guardian. Sri Sandipani Muni, Sri Garga Muni, Sri Brahmananda Bharati, and our Srila Srivas Pandit. They have taken the role of a guardian of the Lord. That is their seva in the Leela. So in that role, they are chastising lovingly the Lord, and the Lord is not taking it otherwise. But even if someone has ulterior motive, even if someone wants to insult out of anger or out of spitefulness, ill feelings, still a Mahabhagavat does not take offense when personally attacked. When they are personally attacked. And just now we had gone out and our beloved Amarendra Prabhu, he told me a very nice pastime of Srila Prabhupada. I would like to share it with all of you. So Amarendra Prabhu was telling me that Srila Prabhupada in 1968, he went to Montreal in Canada. And there was a Indian fellow who was living in Montreal, Canada, and he wanted to arrange a program for Srila Swami Maharaj, our Srila Prabhupada. So he went to a church and got Srila Prabhupada the invitation from the church congregation. So Srila Prabhupada was invited as a special speaker, and the entire church congregation was present there. So there were many Canadian men and women, members of that church congregation, and there were nuns and all those Christian preachers. Everyone was there, and Srila Prabhupada was given an opportunity to address them. And this Indian man named Mr. Mukherjee, he arranged. And of course, Srila Prabhupada was trying to set up some preaching there. And Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, he was assisting Srila Prabhupada in the preaching work in Montreal, Canada at that time in 1968. So Srila Prabhupada gave a very beautiful talk on Bhagavad Dharma. And in his characteristic style, Srila Prabhupada being totally uncompromising, he's after all the foremost disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, who is the Simha Guru, the Lion Guru, and Srila Prabhupada is his disciple. So Srila Prabhupada had that same mood as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, very bold, very uncompromising. So Srila Prabhupada spoke on Bhagavad Dharma in that church, and the entire audience is composed of the congregation members of that church. They're all Christians. And Srila Prabhupada gives the message of Bhagavad Dharma based on Srimad Bhagavatam and Sri Bhagavad Gita. And in the end, Srila Prabhupada asks, are there any questions? And this Mukherjee, he raises his hand. And Srila Prabhupada says, yes. And this Mukherjee He takes the microphone and he says, Swami Maharaj, I gave you this opportunity to come and speak here, thinking that you will be a little different kind of a Swami. But you are coming here, you are in a Christian church, and you are speaking the message of Hindus. This is not good. These are all nice Christian fellows. You should let them practice what they're practicing. Why are you coming here and talking about your Hindu dharma? I thought you would do better than that. You would be more mindful of your audience and speak accordingly. But you have just come and spoken like a typical Hindu preacher. So he challenged and he criticized Srila Prabhupada like that, openly, in front of the whole congregation, all the audience. In front of them, he insulted Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada just looked down. He did not say anything. And then the program wound up. Later on that evening, Srila Prabhupada called Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and asked Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj that tomorrow you call Mr. Mukherjee. I would like to talk to him. So Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj was very hurt by the behavior. All the disciples of Srila Prabhupada were very hurt by his behavior. So Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj said, but Prabhupada, he was so insulting towards you. He was so antagonistic towards you. Why would you want to meet him again? So Srila Prabhupada said, no, that's okay. There was a reason why he spoke like that. And Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj inquired, what was the reason, Srila Prabhupada? And Srila Prabhupada replied that in my previous life, I might have insulted him. And therefore, by law of karma, he insulted me. I must have spoken some ill words to him in my past life. That's why he has spoken to me in that way. So that's all right. It's not his fault. It's my own karma. Kauna kahu ke dukha sukha kar data, nijakrita karma bhoga sababrata. So when Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj saw this very humble attitude of Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, who is that Mukherjee? He is not even fit to be the dust particles at the shoes of Srila Prabhupada. And who is Srila Prabhupada? Such a great Mahabhagavat, Paramhamsa from Shri Vrindavan Dham. But such humility, such humility. So when Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj heard this response of Srila Prabhupada, how Srila Prabhupada was completely free from false ego, free from anger, free from envy, and so compassionate, so merciful, so kripalu, so dayalu, that he wants to call him again and give him a chance to progress in Krishna consciousness. Go call Mr. Mukherjee, I want to meet him, Srila Prabhupada said. When Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj saw this, he decided in his heart that this is Sadguru, this is Acharya, and I want to surrender my life at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. Such beautiful story. And Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us this principle. When we are given personal criticism, we should accept it. We should not say anything. Yesterday in our Chaitanya Charitamrita reading, we were seeing that in Varanasi, all the Mayavadi sannyasis, they criticized Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They called him Murkha. They called him Bhavuk. Instead of studying Vedanta, he's singing and dancing in Sankirtan. They criticized him like that. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not retaliate. He is Nimai Pandit. If he wants, he can invite them, challenge them to a debate and shred them to pieces with arguments. They will be falling at his feet. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not do that. It was personal allegation. He was personally attacked. So Mahaprabhu accepted it. But when Sri Nityananda Prabhu was attacked by Jagai Madai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became Gaura Simha, Gaura Narsimha. He became angry like Narsimhadev and called for his Sudarshan Chakra to shred them to pieces. Because another devotee was attacked. But when he was personally attacked, he accepted it. Hare Krishna. That is called Trinadapi Sunnichena. So after speaking to Srila Srivas Thakur in this way, that by your blessings, in the future, I will certainly become a devotee. I will become a devotee of Krishna. Our Nimai, Ganga Tire Asi Shishya Sahite Milila. He went to Ganga Tir. He went to the bank of Ganga along with his students. And he met some more students there. Ganga Tire Vasilena Shri Shachi Nandana Chaturdike Vediya Vasila Shishya Shri Shashinandan, our Shri Shashinandan Gaurahari, then sat on the bank of Ganga. Ganga Tire Vasila. He sat down with his students who surrounded him on all sides. Chaturdike Vediya Vasila Shishya Gana were sitting all around our Nimai. Koti mukhe se shobha napari kahite upama tara nahi dekhi tri jagate. Now, please listen carefully, my dear devotees. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying, I cannot describe the beauty of that scene. Where Sri Nimai is sitting on the bank of the beautiful Ganga in Navadvip Dham, wearing his Pitambar Vastra with his Kamala Nayana, his beautiful black curly hair, his beautiful divine transcendental effulgent form. He has got the complexion of Srimati Radhika Rani. And he's chewing the pan that his students have offered him. He's wearing Vanamala garland around his neck. And he's holding a book in his hand. And his students have surrounded him on all sides. And he's speaking to them on the bank of Ganga. Koti mukhe sei shobha napari kahite. Even if I had millions of mouths, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying, even with millions of mouths, I could not possibly describe the beauty of this scene of our Sri Shachinandan Gaurahari sitting on the bank of Ganga with his students. Aha. Koti mukhe sei shobha napari kahite upama tara nahi dekhi tri jagate. Upama tara nahi dekhi tri jagate. There is no comparison in the three worlds, in the upper planetary systems, in the lower planetary systems, and in the middle planetary system. There is no example, there is no upama of this beauty of this scene where Sri Shachinandan Gaurahari is sitting on the bank of Ganga with his students and teaching. Now listen. Chandra Tara Ganava Bali Base Ho Nahaya Sakalanka Tara Kala Kshaya Vriddhi Haya. I cannot compare this scene of Shri Gaura Chandra to the moon surrounded by stars. Can I give the upama, can I give the analogy that Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looked like the moon surrounded by the stars? Shri Gaura Chandra is the moon and his Shishya Gana are the stars around the moon. Can I give this example? No, I cannot give. Why? Because Sakalanka. Because Chandra has got kalang, has got black spots. And the moon sometimes waxes, sometimes wanes. Sometimes increase in size, sometimes decrease in size. Sometimes is covered by the clouds, sometimes is not covered by the clouds. So the effulgence of the moon is not stable. But our Sri Shachinandan Gaurahari, Bahu Koti Chandra Jini Vadana Ujvala Gala Deshe Banamala Kore Jhalamala. But our Shachinandan Gaurahari, his effulgence is always increasing, like millions of moons. So I cannot give the example of moon and the stars. No. It's not appropriate. Moon is Sakalanka and Tara Kala Kshaya Vriddhi Hai. Kshaya Vriddhi. Sometimes it wanes, sometimes it waxes. Not a good analogy. Okay. Verse number 258. Srila Vrindavan Thakur says, Sarva Kala Paripurna E Prabhura Kala Nishkalanka Te Se Upama Dure Gela. This Lord, Sri Shachinandan Gaurahari, is eternally complete and spotless. Sarva Kala Paripurna. Paripurna. He is like the full moon and E Prabhura Kala Nishkalanka. Our Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Nishkalanka. He doesn't have those black spots like the moon. Teni se upama dure gela. Therefore, this upama, this example, analogy of moon and the stars, I reject it. Not appropriate. All right, let me give you another analogy of this scene. Another analogy. Now listen to this. Verse 259. Brihaspati upama odite na juyaya teho eka paksha deva ganera sahaya. How about the analogy that Shri Sachinandan Gaurahari with his students looked like Shri Brihaspati Maharaj surrounded by his students, the Devatas. How about that? No, that is also not a good analogy. Brihaspati upamao dite na yuyai. No, that is also not an analogy. Why? Teho eka paksha deva ganera sahai. Why? Because Brihaspati is partial. He is partial to the demigods. Whereas Krishna is not partial. Krishna is not partial. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not partial. He is giving mercy to one and all, everyone. What is that verse in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says, Name dvesha sino priya? What is that verse? Anybody? How does it start? Name dvesha sino priya. Samoham sarva bhuteshu. Thank you, Sugandha Mataji. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dvesha sino priya. Krishna is samoham sarva bhuteshu. He is not partial. But Brihaspati is partial. Brihaspati is partial to the Devatas. Always siding the Devatas. So that upama is not appropriate. Teho eka paksha deva ganera sahaya. He only helps the demigods. So no, that example is not good. Verse 260. E Prabhu sabara paksha sahaya sabara ata eva edrishtanta nahaya ihara. But E Prabhu, our Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, sabara paksha sahaya sabara. He is giving mercy to everyone. He is on everyone's side. He doesn't take sides. He is on everyone's side. Therefore, this comparison to Brihaspati also is not a justified one. Okay. Srila Vrindavan Thakur says, all right, the example of moon and the stars is not good. Example of Brihaspati with his students is not good. Let me think of another example, another analogy to compare this beautiful scene of Nimai sitting on Ganga Tir. How about Kamadev? Aha. Kamadeva upamava dibase ho naya teho chitte jagile chitte rakshobhaya. I cannot compare Shri Nimai to Kamadev also. Why I cannot compare to Kamadev? Because when Kamadev appears in the heart, teho chitte jagila chitte rakshobhaya. Then what happens? When Kamadev appears in the heart becomes agitated with lust. Hare Krishna. The heart becomes agitated with lust when Kamadev enters the heart. But E Prabhu jagile chitte sarva bandhakshaya parama nirmala supra sanna chittahaya. E Prabhu jagile chitte sarva bandhakshaya parama nirmala supra sanna chittahaya. How beautiful is this? Srila Vrindavan Thakur is saying when Kamadev appears in the heart becomes agitated with lust and desires for sense gratification. But when Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears in the heart, E Prabhu jagile chitte sarva bandhakshay. All the knots of material attachments, all the materialistic desires are cut to pieces. Sarva bandhakshay and parama nirmala. Our heart becomes param nirmal, becomes pure, no contamination. And suprasanna chitta hai. And our chitta, our consciousness, our heart, our mood becomes suprasanna. Very, very happy. Anandam buddhi vardhanam pratipadam purnamrita smadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate. Shri Gaura Sankirtanam. Hari Bol. Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. Ei matta sakala drishtanta yogyanaya sabe eka upama dekhiya chitte laya. Therefore, all these three comparisons. What are the three comparisons? Moon and the stars. There is Brihaspati with his students and Kamdev. All these three examples I reject. They are not proper examples. They are not proper upama. But there is one comparison that I can think of. Srila Vrindavan Thakur says, Sabhe eka upama dekhiya chitte loy. There is one upama that I can think of. What is that upama? What is that analogy that he can think of? Now listen. Kalindira tire jena Shri Nanda Kumara Gopa Vrinda Madhevasi Karila Vihara. Sei Gopa Vrindalai Sei Krishna Chandra Bhuji Dvija Rupe Ganga Tire Kare Ranga. Kalindira tire jena Shri Nanda Kumara Gopa Vrinda Madhevasi Karila Vihara. Sei Gopa Vrindalai Shri Krishna Chandra Bhuji Dvija Rupe Ganga Tire Kare Ranga. Just as the son of Sri Nanda Maharaj, Nanda Nandan Krishna, enjoyed his pastimes sitting among the cowherd boys, the Gopagan, on the bank of Yamuna, that same Krishna, in the form of a Brahman boy, Dvija Rupe, Brahman boy, now enjoyed pastimes sitting with those same cowherd boys who have come as his students on the bank of Ganga. Aha. Kalindira tire jena Shri Nanda Kumara Gopa Vrinda Madhevasi Karila Vihara. Sei Gopa Vrindalai Sei Krishna Chandra Bhuji Dvija Rupe Ganga Tire Kare Ranga. Aha. Now Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, whatever we read, he is summarizing it in this purport. So I'm going to read. These are the beautiful words of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So please listen. Shri Lord Gaurachandra sat on the bank of Ganga surrounded by his students. Three comparisons are given in this regard. The moon surrounded by the stars, Brihaspati surrounded by demigods, and Cupid. But these three comparisons are unable to properly describe the Lord's unparalleled beauty, his sitting posture, unparalleled, Advitiya Roop. Why? It is not a proper example because, number one, the moon has black marks resembling a rabbit. The moon has black marks resembling a, this is from Narasimha Puran. This example is given. So the black marks on the moon, if you look carefully, they look like a rabbit. Someone can just do a quick Google search, Google image search, just type moon rabbit spots and some image will pop up. You can share the link in the chat box. It actually looks like a rabbit with those ears like that. So the example of moon is not appropriate because moon has black marks resembling a rabbit and the moon waxes and wanes. And the moon cannot be seen in daylight. But our Nimai Pandit is not like that. Nimai Pandit is always effulgent. His effulgence never diminishes. Example number two, Brihaspati, spiritual master of just one party, only demigods. He is guru of the Devatas. And he has no sympathy for the opposite party, the demons. Whereas our Gaura Sundar, Dina Hina Yata Chila Hari Nama Uddharilo Tara Sakshi Jagai Madhai. He gave mercy to everyone. Dhira Dhira Jana Priya Priya Karo Nirmat Sarau Pujito Shri Caitanya Kripa Bharau Bhuvi Bhuvo Bhara Vahantarako Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. So I will share my screen. Thank you, Kavita Mataji, for sharing. So everybody can see this. I hope you can see the screen. These are the actual photograph of moon. These are the black spots and they look like a rabbit. This is what Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is saying. Hari Hari. So that example is not good. How about Cupid? Cupid appears in the mind of a person and causes mundane agitation, while the appearance of Shri Gaura Sundar vanquishes all bondage and enlivens the living entities. What is that verse? Ananda Leela Maya Vigrahaya Hemabhya Divya Chavi Sundaraya तस्मै महाप्रेम रसा प्रदाय चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते, चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते, श्री चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते. चैतन्य चंद्र, आनंद लीलामय विग्रहाय. हाउ श्री चैतन्य महापुरुष विग्रह आनंद लीलामय. आहा, आनंद लीलामय विग्रहाय हेमाभ दिव्य छवि सुंदराय. हाउ इज हिज छवि? हेमाभ दिव्य छवि सुंदर. गोल्डन फॉर्म. हेम मीन्स गोल्ड. हेमाभ दिव्य छवि सुंदराय. वेरी ब्यूटिफुल golden effulgent form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. तस्मै महाप्रेम रस प्रदाय. And he is giving Vraj Ras Prem. Vraj Prem Ras. He is giving Manjari Bhav. He is giving Gopi Bhav. He is giving Radha Bhav to all of us. Radha Dasyam. Radha Dasyam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani by making us his servants, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Radha Bhav and we are servants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving Radha Dasyam to all of us. गोपी भाव रसामृताब्धि लहरी कल्लोलमग्नौ मुहुर वंदे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीव गोपालकौ आनंद लीलामय विग्रहाय हेमाभ दिव्य छवि सुंदराय तस्मै महाप्रेम रस प्रदाय. प्रदान करते, ही इज गिविंग दान. अत्यंत दुर्लभ प्रेम कोरी बारे दान शिखाय शरणागति भगतेर प्राण. He is giving us तस्मै महाप्रेम रस प्रदाय चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते. Srila Prabhudananda Saraswati Thakur in Sri Chaitanya Chandamrita has prayed like this. Ananda Leela Maya Vigrahaya. That is our Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he comes, Ananda Leela Maya Vigraha. Not agitation of Kamdev, material lust. No. Ananda Leela Maya Vigrahaya. So beautiful. So that example of Cupid is not good. Although these comparisons give an incomplete and partial indication of Lord Gaurachandra's beauty, they are unable to give a complete description. Therefore, Govinda, Lord Govinda, Nandanandan Krishna, our Shama Sundar, in his unparalleled pastime, sitting on the bank of Yamuna with the cowherd boys, is the best and ideal comparison to Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, who is non-different from Govinda. He is Gaur Govinda. Aha. Text 266. Ganga tire je je jane dekhe Prabhu mukha sei paya ati anirvachaniya sukha. What a verse. Look at this verse. Verse number 266. Ganga tire ye jane dekhe Prabhu mukha. On the bank of Ganga, all the people who saw the beautiful face of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sei paya ati anirvachaniya sukha. What they got? They got anirvachaniya sukha, indescribable joy, pleasure, happiness they got just by looking at the beautiful moon-like face of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Srila Narottam Das Thakur also has the same realization. Radha Krishna Prana Mora Yugala Kishore Jivane Marane Gati Aranahi Mor Kalindira Kule Keli Kadambera Vana Ratana Bedira Upar Bosabo Dujana Shama Gauri Ange Dibo Chandanera Gandha Chamaradu Labo Kabe Heri Mukha Chandra. Heri Mukha Chandra. What is Srila Narottam Thakur is saying? Heri Mukha Chandra. Heri means to see. I am beholding what? Mukha Chandra. Their beautiful moon-like faces. Mukha Chandra. Same thing here Srila Vrindavan Thakur is saying. Ganga tire ye jane dekhe Prabhur mukha sei paya ati anirvachaniya sukha. Aha. Whoever saw Sri Gauranga Sundar's beautiful face as he sat on the bank of Ganga attained indescribable happiness. Dekhiya Prabhura teja ati vilakshana Ganga tire kana kani kare sarvajana. Keha bole eta teja manushera naya. Keha bole e brahmana Vishnu amshahaya. Keha bole vipra raja hai beka gaude. Sei bhuji kathana nanade. Raja Chakravarti Chinha देखिए सकला ei mata bole jar jata buddhi bala. Seeing Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's extraordinary effulgence, everyone on the bank of the Ganga began to whisper to one another. What are they whispering to one another? Everyone who is seeing Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, they are whispering. They are struck by his beauty. Someone said, Eta teja manushera naya. He cannot be an ordinary human being because an ordinary human being cannot have such effulgence. Someone else said, this Brahman is a portion of Lord Vishnu. A Brahman of Vishnu Amsha hai. He is an Amsha of Vishnu. Another said, I think he will fulfill that prediction that one day a Brahman will become the king of Gauda. Vipra Raja Hai Beka Gaude. Then someone said that he will fulfill the prediction that a Brahman will become a king of Gauda, for he has all the symptoms of a king. Raja Chakravarti Chinha Dekhe Sakala. He has all the signs of a king, Maharaja. In this way, everyone spoke according to their own realization, their own understanding. They all glorified. So this is the beauty of this Bhakti Marg. Devotees glorify Krishna according to their realization. And it is all perfect. No problem. Verse 271. अध्यापक प्रति सब कटाक्षा करिया व्याख्या करे प्रभु गंगा समीपे वसिया. Meanwhile, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu pointed out faults in the other teachers as he engaged in explaining the Shastra, the scriptures on the bank of Ganga. He is showing his Panditya. He is showing how he is the greatest teacher, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, which he is. Haya Vyakhya Naya Kare Haya. Sakala Khandiya Sheshe Sakala Sthapaya. What beautiful poetry, what beautiful sweet words. Listen to this. Haya Vyakhya Naya Kare Haya Sakala Khandiya Sheshe Sakala Sthapaya. Khandiya Sthapaya. Haya Naya Haya. Shri Nimai Pandit established correct statement as incorrect and incorrect statements as correct. Then, after refuting all other explanations, he again established the proper meaning with new explanations. Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur writes in the purport, Sri Gaura Sundar began to exhibit such ingenious scholastic pastimes that he easily refuted the challenges of ordinary people and established his own conclusions. He would first refute a challenge and then re-establish it by his own ingenuity. प्रभु बोले तारे आमी बलि ये पंडिता एक बार व्याख्या करे आमारा सहित. What a challenge. Lord Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu said, I consider a person learned if he is able to discuss with me. Let them comment. एक बार व्याख्या करे आमारा सहित. सही व्याख्या न करिया आर बार आमा प्रभु दीते है न शक्तिया चेकार. Who has the power to refute by establishing a different explanation from me? Who can refute me? Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu is challenging. This world has never seen a Pandit like Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, like Nimai Pandit. Ei mata Ishwara Vyanjena Ahankar Sarva Garva Churna Haya Shuniya Sabar. All these proud scholars who are living in Nadia, Sarva Garva Churna Haya Shuniya Sabar. As the Supreme Lord Shri Nimai Pandit exhibited his own pride in this way, transcendental pride, he smashed the pride of all others. Katava Prabhura Shishya Tara Antanai Katava Mandali Hai Pade Thai Thai. Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu had innumerable students. There is no count to the number of students Shri Nimai Prabhu had, Nimai Pandit had. They studied in different groups under his direction. Now listen. Pratidina Dashabisha Brahmana Kumar Asiya Prabhura Paye Kore Namaskar. Pratidina, every day 10-20 Brahman boys. Pratidina Dashabisha Brahmana Kumar. 10-20 Brahman boys would come Asiya Prabhurapaya Kare Namaskar. They would come and they would offer obeisances at the lotus feet of Sri Nimai Pandit. Pandita Amara Padi Baya to Masthane Kichu Jani Keha Kripa Kariba Apana. Apane. So they would say, "Oh, Nimai Pandit, we wish to study with you. Please be merciful so that we can learn something." Every day, this 10, 20 Brahman boys would come and become his student, beg to become the students of Nimai. Ganga Tire Shishya Sange Mandali Kariya Vaikuntera Chudamani Achena Vasiya Vaikuntera Chudamani Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. The Lord of Vaikuntha would sit in the company of his students on the bank of Ganga in this way. Ganga Tire Shishya Sange Mandali Kariya. And every day his students were increasing. 10, 20 new students every day. Imagine how much it is. If in 1 month, 300, 600 students more. Imagine increasing every month. Chaturdi ke dekhe sab bhagyavant loka sarvana vadvipa prabhu prabhava ashoka. Aha. Fortunate people saw from all sides. They were glancing at Nimai from all directions. And by the influence of the Lord, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, by his influence, the entire city of Navadvip became free from all lamentation, became Ashok. Chaturdi ke dekhe sab bhagyavant loka sarvana vadvipa prabhu prabhave ashoka. Ashoka. Se ananda ye bhagyavanta dekhile ka kona jana achetara bhagya bali beka. Who can calculate the good fortune of the pious souls who saw these pastimes of Nimai Pandit? Aha. What pastimes of Nimai Pandit? Se ananda dekhile ka ye sukrati jana tane dekhile o khande samsaro bandhana. Just by seeing a pious soul who has seen these pastimes, one is freed from the material bondage. Brahmanda tarite shakti dhare jane jane. Each and every associate of Mahaprabhu has the power to deliver the whole Brahmanda. Haribol. Se ananda dekhile ka ye sukrati jana tane dekhile o khande samsara bandhana. Just by seeing up one devotee of Nimai who has seen these pastimes of Sri Gaura Sundar, just by seeing that devotee of Nimai, that Gaura Parshad, one is freed from material bondage. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes, the transcendental Vaikuntha pastimes of Sri Gaura Sundar are so ecstatic that if one sees a person who has seen such pastimes, one is freed from attachment to material existence. Srila Prabhupada has seen. Srila Prabhupada has seen these pastimes. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur has seen. So we are so fortunate to be in their line. Haila papishtha janma na haila thakane haila na vanchita se sukha darashana. Now Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur in his genuine humility is saying, Haila papishtha janma na haila thakane haila vanchita se Sukha darashane. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying, Haila papishtha janma. My birth is sinful. Na haila thakane. I am so sinful, I am so papishtha that I did not take birth at that time when my Lord, my Nimai, was manifesting his beautiful Leela, his beautiful pastimes. Oh. I was born later on. I missed it. Hailana vanchita se sukha darashane. Oh, that sukha darshan, that beautiful Leela darshan, vanchita. I have been deprived. I have been cheated from seeing those pastimes. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada writes in the purport. The author, who is an incarnation of Sri Vyasadeva, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, the spiritual master of the entire world and a Vaishnava Acharya, is teaching the example of humility by lamenting in the following way. Alas, such an unfortunate birth as mine did not take place during the transcendental pastime of Sri Gaura Sundar. So I was not fortunate. I was not fortunate enough to see those ecstatic pastimes. Sri Saraswati Thakur says, materialistic persons take birth to enjoy the fruits of their respective past misdeeds. But if one takes such a birth during the manifest pastimes of Sri Gaura Sundar, Prakata Leela, he becomes glorious by seeing those pastimes despite having taken an abominable birth. This is the power of Janma Karma Chame Divyam Evam Yuvati Tatvata. तथापि ह एई कृपा कर गौर चंद्र से लीला स्मृति मोर हौक जन्म जन्म. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is praying to Sri Gaura Sundar, Gaura Chandra. He is referred as Gaura Chandra. Why Gaura Chandra? What was the tithi when Sri Krishna Chandra appeared? Ashtami. Janma Ashtami. Krishna Janma Ashtami. Krishna appeared on Ashtami. What tithi did Srimati Radhika Rani appear on? Radhashtami. Ashtami. Ashtami plus Ashtami is Purnima. The Ashtami comes in the middle of the moon cycle. There are 15 days. In the middle comes the 8th day, Ashtami. So Ashtami plus Ashtami is Purnima. And who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. So Krishna, Janmashtami, Radhashtami, you add them, Ashtami plus Ashtami is Purnima, Gaura Purnima. So Gaura Chandra, he appears on Gaura Purnima. And how he gets the inspiration to accept Chandranana. Srimati Radharani is called Chandranana, one whose face is beautiful like the moon. She is Chandramukhi. Srimati Radharani is called Chandramukhi. She has the beautiful, not the moon of this world with a rabbit black spot, but the moon of Golok Vrindavan. Very beautiful. Srimati Radharani is Chandranana. She is Chandramukhi. Her beautiful face is effulgent like the moon. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Krishna wanted that. He wanted to experience Radha Bhav. So what did Srimati Radharani do? Radharani gave her moon to Sri Krishna, so that Krishna could become Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Purnima. You see? So there is Krishna, only Ashtami, only 8. And Radharani gives her moon to Krishna. So Krishna becomes Purnima. Krishna becomes Gaura Chandra. But then Radharani has given herself. She has given her complexion, she has given her bhav to Krishna, so that Krishna can become Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, isn't it? So then what happened to Radharani? What happened to Radharani? Radharani gave her complexion to Krishna, she gave her bhav to Krishna, so that Krishna can become Gaur Krishna. Krishna can become Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So what happened to Radharani? Radharani became Amavasya. Radharani became Amavasya. And she appeared as Gadadhar Pandit, who appears on Amavasya. Radharani is Gadadhar Pandit. She appears on Amavasya, and Krishna becomes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who becomes Purnima, having received the moon from Srimati Radharani. Chandranana, from Chandramukhi, Shri Radha. How beautiful is this? This is the realization of Srila Param Pujya, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, a beloved god brother of Srila Prabhupada, a beloved disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This is his realization. How beautiful is it? Very dear friend of our Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj. Jai. So he's saying, my birth is sinful. I could not see those pastimes. Tathapi ha ei kripa kara gaura chandra sei lila smriti mora hauka janma janma. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is praying, O Gaura Chandra, please be merciful to me, so that I may remember these pastimes birth after birth. How beautiful is this prayer? We can say this prayer. So I have been vanchit. Hailena vanchita se sukha darshan. I could not have a darshan. I didn't have darshan sukh, so I am vanchit. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati also prays like this. Very beautiful verse. What does Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati say? Gaura prema rase magna. Vishwam gaura rase magna. This whole Vishwa, this whole universe, all the people in this universe have been touched by Gaura Rasa. Gauranga Mahaprabhu's mercy has touched everyone. Not just touched, they have become magna. Vishwam Gaura Rase magna. Sparshopi mam na bhavat. But I have not been touched. Everyone is drowning in Gaur Prem, in Gaur Rasa, except me. Vanchitosmi, vanchitosmi, vanchitosmi na samshaya. Vishwam Gaura Rase Magnam Sparshopi Mam Na Bhavat Vanchitosmi, Vanchitosmi, Vanchitosmi Na Samshaya. He's lamenting like this. Same mood as Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. How beautiful is this? Tathapi has a kripa kara gaura chandra se lila smriti mora hauka janma janma. Beautiful verse, beautiful prayer. Again we'll read. Tathapi a kripa kara gaura chandra se lila smriti mora hauka janma janma. May birth after birth I remember Gaur Lila. My dear Gaura Chandra, please do this one mercy on me. Give me this one mercy. May I remember your pastimes always. Birth after birth. Saparshade tumi nityananda yatha yatha lila kara muyena bhrityahaya tatha. Our darling Vrindavan Das Thakur, our Acharya Vrindavan Das Thakur is praying, hey Gauranga Mahaprabhu, whenever you and Sri Nityananda Prabhu perform pastimes with your associates, Sa Parshada Tumi, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, you with your Parshads, and Nityananda Yatha Yatha, wherever you perform your pastime, Lila Kara Mui Yena Bhritya Hayatatha. Whenever you perform your Leelas, Gaur Nitaya, with your Parshads, whenever you perform your Leelas, may I be present there as your Bhritya, as your servant. So beautiful. So beautiful. Saparshade tumi nityananda yatha yatha lila kara muyena bhrityahaya tatha. Shri Krishna Caitanya Nityananda Chanda Jana Vrindavana Dasa Tachu Pada Yuge Gana. Accepting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das Thakur, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Thus end the English translation of the Gaudiya Bhashya commentary on Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, Ādi Khanda, chapter 12, entitled Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu's Wandering Throughout Navadvip. Hare Krishna. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Our beloved founder Acharya. Om Vishnupad Shri Srimad Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bo. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If there are any questions, you can raise your hand. Otherwise, we can stop. It's already 12 minutes over time. Mukta Sangha Prabhu is saying, shared a file in a meeting.
No, that's a complete Chaitanya Bhagavat PDF.
Achha. Thank you, Prabhu. I'm just seeing if there is anything. Chaitanya Bhagavat entire. Those who don't have the soft copy of Chaitanya Bhagavat, you can do this. You can download that. Click on that link. So thank you very much, dear devotees. Mukta Sangha Prabhu, if you give me permission, we'll end now.
Yeah, thank you. Wonderful, Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
One
Jai
second.
Jai Shri Radhe Shyam.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you, Prabhu.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.